Hey guys, good morning. It's Reggie Pegues here, the Prospering Dad, and we're here today. It's Wednesday, wonderful Wednesday. Hope that you guys have had a great week this week so far, that you're getting things done, that you're accomplishing things that you wanted to do. You're setting goals, you're hitting them, and you're setting more goals. And if you miss them, you're recalibrating, reloading, and you're shooting for them again. Before we begin, as always, if you follow me on YouTube, we are now over here on Facebook Live. So indulge me as I acknowledge people as they come on in real time. As you come on, type in the comments and let me know where you're viewing from. Also, let me know where, if you're watching live, hashtag live or hashtag replay. All right. So today's topic, we're going to talk about remember the successes, forget the failures. Remember the successes and forget the failures. Let me ask you this. How's your confidence lately? How's your confidence? How's your self-confidence? The thing that we experience often, which is so amazing, is that we play these tapes over and over, these videos over and over again in our mind. And we can remember every detail of every time something didn't work out, every failure, something that didn't progress a certain way. And we can remember that so vividly. But when it comes to our successes, we don't see it the same way. We don't celebrate it the same way. We don't, have the same detail. It's been statistically proven that, for example, you might find $100 bill and you'll remember very little about that experience. But if you lose $10, you can remember the day it happened, what you wore, the weather, all the details. So why don't we remember our successes more than we remember our failures? Well, one of the reasons is that it's so easy to be negative. It's so easy to have a negative thought. It's so easy to go there, in other words. And when we do that, and we replay the negative over and over again, when we replay our failures, and I actually personally I don't like using the word failure. I really actually like the definition Thomas Edison used, which was, it's not that he failed, he just learned a different way of how not to do a thing. And for me, that works a little better for me. I like that a little better. But when we play these things over and over and over again, it has a detrimental effect on our self-image. It has a detrimental effect on our confidence. It could have a detrimental effect on our health, mental health, physical health. But we don't have to do that. The Bible instructs us to capture our thoughts, meaning that we should be constantly on guard and constantly aware. Hey, my niece Kiana, how you doing? Good to see you. We should be constantly on guard and constantly aware of our thoughts. Thoughts are things. They're powerful things. And we should be constantly aware of them. And the reason why is I have expressed in this series that we have up to maybe 70,000 internal conversations with ourselves. Svetlana, how you doing? Good morning. We have over 70,000, well, it's afternoon for where you are. We have internal conversations with us, within ourselves each and every day. Around roughly 70 to almost 80,000 internal conversations that we have. And it's been scientifically and psychologically proven that 80% of those conversations are negative. Are negative conversations. So that's a lot of stuff that, because the way our brains are wired, that we look for danger. We're looking almost for negativity in almost everything. So when we don't control our thoughts, when we don't capture our thoughts, that leaves our minds to be able to run rampant with wrong information, okay? And we have to realize that our minds are, if you can think of the most fertile soil ever, that's what our mind is. Or if you look at it, at your brain like a computer, right? A computer doesn't care about the data that you input into it. It really doesn't. It doesn't care about the information. Our brain doesn't care really about the information that you feed it. But here's the thing. In the results of the computer or the results of fertile soil, you reap what you sow. So whatever information that you put in there, it's going to generate results based on that information. Yes or yes? So we have to understand that when it comes to our successes, good morning, Stephen, how you doing? When it comes to remembering the successes, we have to emphasize that more. We have to put a little bit more energy into that because our brains are wired in such a way that it's so much easier to call forth the negative as it is to, focus on the positive. For example, we look for success to be the big thing, but we don't take into account there was a series of things that had to happen prior to whatever the grand event was. So how does this affect us? How does this affect us? When we focus on the failures and we don't remember our successes, it affects our confidence. Confidence is built on experience of success. Okay? Confidence is built on experience of success. So, to help our confidence, we need to put together a series of successes. And it doesn't have to be something huge, but for example, today, my daughter asked me a question today, and the fact that I was able to supply an answer that was not only satisfactory to the question, but it brought joy to her, that's a success. That's a success. The fact that I woke up this morning in a good spirit, and I couldn't wait, and I looked forward to the day, that's a success. So a lot of us, hey, Felix, how you doing? Good to see you. So a lot of us, we look at success as the end result, but we don't acknowledge the steps in between. I'm sure that it's Wednesday, and there's something that you guys have done so far this week that are successes, but are you seeing the success? Are you seeing and focusing on like, hey, you know what? I really did something great today, or I had a great conversation, with someone, or I did something a little bit different. Whatever you can find, you don't have to grasp at straws. Each and every one of us, we are constantly doing things that we can regard as a success. So when it comes to our confidence, we need to build a series of successes. For one example, I used to coach youth basketball. And with coaching youth basketball, particularly when you're dealing with young people and you're trying to teach them a skill, what you want to do to build their confidence is you build on smaller successes. For example, if a kid never bounced a ball before, getting them to be able to bounce a ball consistently and then be able to move with the ball and then be able to move with the ball and make a basket. That's a series of successes that you can connect. For me, being an entrepreneur, when I first started out in business, I was terrible. I sucked. I was awful. I failed much, much more than I ever succeeded. And one of the things that I learned early on is that if you really want to be successful in business or in life, fail big. If you're going to do it big. Do it really big. Fail big. so you can get it out of the way. But more importantly, what do we gain from failure? We get experience, we get knowledge, we get to learn things, we get to grow. So from that, conversely, when we get to the place where we can celebrate all of your wins, anything that you do well, celebrate that. Say, hey, listen, I did that really well. That's great. I can get better. Celebrate your wins, big or small. You got to celebrate them. Today, for example, it was a wonderful day because I got interviewed for a podcast and with an old friend of mine. And today the podcast was released and it's up and it's published. That's a success for me. That's a success for me. Now, conversely, I remember when I couldn't do public speaking at all. But I learned, I practiced, I can do videos like this. I learned from them. When you go on my YouTube channel, you'll see some of my earlier videos, they were terrible. But now I can celebrate bigger and bigger successes because of the smaller successes that I had. It's a practice skill. You have to practice this. You have to practice this. You have to practice, Khadijah, how you doing? Good to see you, darling. You have to practice capturing your thoughts. Because as I say, with the internal conversations that we have on a daily basis, the majority of those conversations are negative. So you have to recognize those conversations, capture that thought, replace it with a positive, uplifting, motivating thought, utilizing your successes. Don't focus on what you don't do well. Focus on what you do well. And it's a practice skill. And you have to be consistent. You have to be consistent in doing this. All right? And lastly, your past doesn't matter. You might have not been successful on something. You might have failed on something before. But Cassandra Sawyer, how are you doing, dear? Long time no see. Your past doesn't matter. You might have done some things that didn't work out. It might have been a relationship. I was talking with a dear friend of mine the other day, and we happened to bring up the conversation, and this goes to capturing your thoughts, which is, I was having, like sometimes, and I'm sure that you've experienced this too, I was having memories. I was thinking about a past relationship and, a situation that had gone down in that. And I had to capture that thought and say, hey, well, listen, why am I thinking about this? This is not going to help me. Renee Burke, good to see you. This is not going to help me. Why am I thinking about something that's in my past that wasn't a good experience? Why am I doing that? And we tend to do that. We will focus on the negative instead of focusing on the positive. So your past doesn't matter. Your past does not matter. The attempt that you're trying to move forward and do something does matter. So again, guys, remember the successes. Forget the failures. Forget the failures. Okay? Just forget the failures. Elaine, Henry, good morning. Thanks for joining. Remember your successes. Forget the failures. How's your confidence? Ask yourself, how's your confidence? How's your self-image? What is your perspective about you? Confidence is built on experience of success. So if you want to build your confidence, start with little small successes. It's a domino effect, guys. So you start with little things and just keep building on that success and then build to the next one and use them as stepping stones to get where you want to be. Celebrate all your wins, big and small. This is a practice skill. It's something that you got to work with and be consistent with day in and day out. And your past doesn't matter. Just because it didn't work before doesn't mean it won't work going into the future. Don't bring that along with you. Don't bring your garbage from the past into your present, okay? Guys, on that note, I hope you guys got some great value today. It's a wonderful Wednesday. And as always, you get to choose the life that you want to have. You get to write the narrative. You get to be the hero in your own story. You get to be the success that you want to be, okay? Be 100% responsible for yourself. Good, bad, or indifferent. Be responsible. Take responsibility for that because you're worthy. You're worthy of the life that you choose. On that note, guys, do me a favor. Go over to my YouTube channel, Reggie, R-E-G-G-I-E-B, Pegues, P-E-G-U-E-S. Like this video today or like whatever video that you view on my channel. If you're not a subscriber, hit the subscribe button so when I upload new content, you'll be the first to know. Hit the notification button here so you know when I come on every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern. And like and share this video. Like and share this video because someone needs this word today. All right? Guys, enjoy the rest of your day. It's a wonderful Wednesday. I look forward to talking to you again on Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern. Have a blessed day, and I'll talk to you soon.